Hey everybody, how's it going? B Temple back again, and today we got something a little older than the last review that I did. What we got in front of us today are some B1 and B2 units from the United States, I believe RCI or Ration Combat Individual rations from the Korean War. So we've got two here that look very similar in their text, so I'm going to assume they're from around the same time, from the same company. Although this one says Chicago QM Depot. This one says nothing and this one says nothing, but you can see the text here on both of these is very similar. This is a B1 unit from 551, and so it's May of 51, and a B2 unit from, as you can see, 451, so April. And we have this one here, which is a B2 unit with slightly different text, and this is a 452. So we got exactly 1 year in difference between this one and this one here. So it's odd that the text changes a little bit over time. We go from this sort of state to this state, although I don't know if that's just because of the manufacturer or if they made stylistic changes in the span of 1 year. So as you can see, the B1 unit is supposed to have coffee, milk, sugar, jam, crackers, and cocoa, whereas the B2 units both say they're supposed to have coffee, milk, candy, sugar, crackers, and a cookie. So you're going to get some very different components here. Now, who knows how well some of this has been stored, anything like that. This one looks to be in, pretty good shape. You get a little bit of movement inside when you shake it up. The ones with the jam, if there's going to be anything wrong with them, usually the jam ones are the problem because the jam sort of bursts before everything else does. There's maybe a little bit of a vacuum here. Things still move around a little bit, so don't really know exactly how these are going to turn out. But what we'll do is crack these open, have a look, and see if anything's actually sensible to try. So we're going to start with this B1 unit from 551, so May of 51. Got our key here. Let's haul that off. Got our tab. Let's lift that up. And let's see if we can get a little hiss. Big hiss. Remember, this is the one with jam, and that was a big hiss, so that's not a very good sign. But let's crack it open. So here's our first thing on top. Cocoa beverage powder in a disc. It's a very light kind of color. Immediately has a just horribly bleachy cocoa smell. Got a pack of Domino granulated sugar, which doesn't actually feel that bad, so that's a good sign. Sometimes they get a little greasy and you know then that things aren't going to be good. We've got a pure soluble coffee in almost like an orange kind of packaging, which is a little different from what we're used to seeing. Ascorbic acid, 2.5 grams. It actually feels like it might be okay, although it's a little weird. We got some kind of green coming through here. We'll open up one just to see what it's like. Got ourselves a soluble milk, 4 grams. Alright, so the crackers are there, and they're kind of fused in there, which would lead me to believe that the jam is on the very bottom. And the jam's probably burst at some point, so I'm going to have to get a little implement to pry some of this out. We'll be back in a second. So here you go, guys. At some point, this was a can of Everest strawberry jam, and it has burst, and it's adhered to everything underneath it. There was this sort of layer of wax lining between it, though, so the crackers actually don't have any jam on them. So when we get around to trying this stuff up, we may try the crackers, who knows? We'll give it a shot. All right, so here's our B1 unit. We can't get the can of jam out, so I'm not even going to attempt to try to tear it out, but here's the items, and what we'll do is we'll finally try some stuff once we get everything else open. So what we're going to move to next is our 51 B2 unit. So this one doesn't have any jam in it, and it's in pretty good shape. It's in incredibly good shape, actually, for something that is, 68 years old or more. So we did with the last one. Let's pop the tab a little bit. Let's see if we get any sort of hiss. A great deal of hiss on that one. Alright, so that opened pretty well. And on top, we have a, I guess, jam sandwich or vanilla cream Weston's vanilla cream sandwich with a vanilla that's turned kind of brown and smells kind of like a little bit like mothballs and gasoline. So that's a good sign. There's the 4 crackers that go with it. Got ourselves once again a Domino granulated sugar. Got a pure soluble coffee from Soul Cafe Manufacturing Corporation, New York. Then we've got a soluble milk. And what may be the major culprit, 2 enriched sweet chocolate discs, and one of them is burst. As you can see right there. Those are mushy to the touch, so that's not a very good sign. And lastly, we've got our year older, so 1952, so a slightly fresher B2 unit. Should have the same exact components as this one here, but maybe some of the packaging may be slightly different, or the components themselves might look a little different, but we'll see. This one's in probably the worst shape of all of them. Try to get the key off. Pop the tab. Let's see how bad this one is. Not as much of a hiss as there was for the other ones. Let's see what we've got. Oh, that's a bad sign. So we've got what looks like a similar cookie. This one's a Mother's. Oh, that smells absolutely horrible. Got a granulated sugar and a pure soluble coffee. Same exact type as 51. The soluble milk looks exactly the same as well. Got some slightly darker looking crackers. And this one should have chocolate as well. Oh, wow. This one actually comes with a jelly disc as opposed to chocolate. And that is hard as a rock. So yeah, let's say, guys, I don't feel particularly good about trying some of this stuff. Because the general smell of what I'm getting from all this is, like I said before, a mix of gasoline and bleach and all that kind of stuff. By the look of the jelly disc and that cookie, there's absolutely no way I'm trying any of that. That chocolate looks absolutely horrible. Like I said, it's actually malleable, so I can just kind of press it and bend it like that. It's more like just chocolate powder at this point. And yeah, that smells just like the cookie does. I don't know if that's what caused the problem, or the cookie's what caused the problem. But yeah, that smells like something, I don't even know how to explain that. Something like in your grandmother's old closet kind of thing, where they kept old clothes and cleaning products. So guys, I I don't want to be one of those kind of people who chickens out, but when you have a B unit that's got a burst jam inside, That's no doubt compromised absolutely everything inside. I don't like the look of that cookie. I don't think anybody would look at that and think that's a good looking thing for a cookie to look like from that age. The crackers are very, very dark, and the jelly disc is rock hard. So I don't really intend on trying any of that. And for this one here, the chocolate has completely compromised absolutely everything. Yeah, even the crackers have the mothball gasoline bleach mix kind of smell. So none of that is particularly enticing in any way, shape, or form. Usually I'd at least try some things, but yeah, there's a point where the sight and smell test really trumps everything else. I'm not real keen on getting sick trying any of this kind of stuff, you know. I got a job and children, so I'd like to be able to enjoy those things and not get sick from trying something that's no doubt compromised. So I guess the biggest thing for this review would be to give everyone a look at what was sort of inside these back in the day. So we've got, you know, Korean War era B units. So it's interesting that, so yeah, in the B2 unit from 51, candy turned out to be chocolate discs. And the B2 unit from 52, candy turned out to be a jelly disc. So I don't know if that was just sort of a change just from year to year, or maybe particular B2 units had jelly. I have no idea exactly why that particular change happened. But to find something like that's pretty cool, I must say. But obviously it's certainly way past its prime. There's no way I'm trying something like that. It's hard as a rock. So yeah, this is more along the lines of just a look inside at what things look like as opposed to try things out, because I can tell you right now that none of this will be any good, and I'd rather not have my mouth feel like it's full of cotton balls and poison. So yeah, guys, this has been a look at 3 separate Korean War B2 units, and you know, hasn't been the greatest sort of thing. But yeah, it's been a nice, interesting look at what things actually look like inside these particular rations, and how sometimes things that look like they might be okay really are not okay in any way, shape, or form. So, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by and giving this a watch, and I'll be back as soon as I can with something else. So, thanks a lot, and have a good one.